This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Bumper Radio on this Memorial Day weekend. I am Dave Riccio. Matt Allen is out. So today I'm your KTR car guy. Bumper to Bumper Radio is heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we are helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you got car questions, give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And for the shy types, you can text us at 411-923. Since Matt Allen is out, I thought I would bring in John Riggle, the lead diagnostician at Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. He's going to help you with your car. Now, I've been in auto repair 25 years, and John's not going to want to admit. How many years you been in auto repair, John?
I don't tell anybody anymore.
I'll tell you for him. It's like 40 plus.
Yeah, thanks.
So between the two of us, we got about 65 years in auto repair shops. So there's not much we can't help you with. Give us a call at 602-277-5827. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, we're going to have some tips for you a little later on the show, car tips, open phones and texts, of course. And the question we get all the time on this show, we get all the time on the phones at Tri-City Transmission, should I service my transmission in my car? There's so many questions and so much misleading advertising and marketing, and people are confused and turned around. John, transmission service. Before you were in the transmission business, because your background traditionally was general automotive repair, before being in the transmission business, what was your attitude about it back then?
Back then, we 30,000 miles, flush them and ship them out the door.
Flush them and ship them out. Did you guys do a pan-off service?
Oh,
no.
No.
You just flush them.
Flush them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they look nice and clean when you're done. You pull the dipstick out, nice and
clean.
Yeah.
Like new.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that you've been in the transmission business for a handful of years, what do you think now?
Yeah, I think doing a transmission service wrong is worse than doing no transmission service at all. Unfortunately, that's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used whatever fluid we had in stock.
Yeah, whatever was on the. Yeah. Now that we know.
I struggle with that a little bit.
So John diagnoses transmission problems from 7 o'clock to 7:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times a day, well, not a day, but a week, he gets a car that's in his bay, and it's got a weird, unusual symptom that the customer's complaining about, and everything looks normal. And one of the questions we asked before we diagnose a car, when was the last time you had the transmission serviced?
Yep.
Oh, about 6 weeks ago or about 4 weeks ago, and now we're dealing with a little weird symptom.
Yeah.
So to your point, no transmission service is way better than a bad one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And the weird symptoms really come from using the wrong fluid. There's these multi-fit fluids that people use in cars because it's a whole lot easier to stock one fluid than 47 that are actually...
Yeah, and see, that comes back to using the flushing machines. I don't really have a problem with the flushing machines. There's some issues if they're not operated properly and stuff, but I don't have an issue with the flushing machines. The problem with the flushing machines is guys not using the right fluid because they have one flushing machine with one container that they have to fill with fluid, and in order to avoid cross-contamination, you have to clean that filling container out every time. Okay? If you're using 30 or 40 different fluids, which we have easily, then now you wind up adding a whole bunch of work for yourself that nobody wants to do. So we'll just use one fluid.
Right.
It doesn't work.
And we had a phone call last week. It was about transmission service, and I learned something from you today. Every time John and I get together and we talk, I learn something new. I know hers was a CVT, and how often should I service my transmission? And I know that we stock NS2 fluid for a Nissan CVT, and then NS3, and they go in different years of Nissan CVT transmissions, And I know there's an oil manufacturer out there that makes a one-size-fits-all CVT fluid. And I'm talking to John, and I said, well, what's the difference between 2 and 3? He goes, whoa, they made some major changes right there in years 14 and 15 as far as going to a low viscosity fluid, and it really reduced the drag in the transmission and all kinds of things.
Yeah, but I mean it's not just the viscosity of the fluid. They reduce the amount of fluid that goes in that transmission to raise the efficiency and reduce friction in that so they lowered the volume. but they also increase the lubricity of it. So there's a lot of different changes in that fluid. They are not the same animal. And there's nothing, a CVT does nothing but generate tons of heat. All right, so you really have to be careful with those. You cannot put the wrong fluid in those and expect them to live at all.
So you're out there thinking, well, do I service my transmission? And everyone's kind of heard the old wives' tales that if you service a transmission with high miles and it's never been serviced before, it's going to cause issues. And so, the way I kind of back that up is if you got a transmission that doesn't have a problem and you don't service it, eventually it will have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. If you got a transmission that's already got a problem and you service it, you're just going to kick it over the edge.
Yeah,
it's already going bad. It's already got a problem. We're trying to service it. It's like taking vitamins when you're, up in your age. You're like, all of a sudden this is going to help me. It may help you feel a little better, but you're still kind of on the downhill slide, if you will. So that's the thing that comes up. Do I service it? Will it cause my transmission to go out? I haven't serviced it before, so I get a lot of that. And then the other thing that's really, really confusing, and we've talked about it before on the show, John, is I buy myself a Toyota truck, and I look in the owner's manual, and it says, check the transmission fluid at 100,000 miles, but don't change it.
Right.
And then there's a little
asterisk
down below, a little italicized. It says for certain climates or for severe duty, change the transmission fluid at 60,000 miles.
Right.
So have you seen us redo a transmission, a Toyota, with less than 100,000 miles on it?
No. Yeah.
So they can fail before, sometimes before their scheduled service. Because at 100,000 miles, they're still saying don't service it.
Oh, yeah. But we've had them shift funny and do weird things.
Yeah, that's...
Long before that. We wind up with that oddball shutter and stuff out of them.
Right.
And swapping the fluid in them cleans them right up.
And I think the thing that we're seeing most failures that we see are related to the valves wearing out. Valve bodies. Valve body is the hydraulic brain inside a transmission. And there's a whole bunch of little valves going back and forth, and there's solenoids, which are electric valves. And those things will plug up or wear out because you get dissolved particulates in the fluid, and that just sits there and polishes those valves until they're just worn out.
Christian and I were talking about that the other day. One of the changes that we've seen lately in the later model transmissions, more magnets in them. You find additional magnets in the transmission pan.
Right.
It started with the CVTs started doing it, but everybody else has started doing it too. The CVTs always shed little pieces of metal into the trans. It's real fine stuff. Well, you try to collect that stuff in these magnets and keep it out of the moving pieces as much as possible. You won't filter it. There's no way to filter it. It's too small for that. Small. But it's highly abrasive when it gets in the valve bodies. And that's where we wind up with these issues where we have these weird shift complaints. And eventually, unchecked, when those valve bodies aren't working right, they can actually tie up some of the automatic transmissions. You can get them to bind into two gears at one time. Well, when you do that, you start to tear stuff up that eventually causes a failure of the transmission.
So I think really the fluid is something you can't just bypass. And most people are just saying, well, it's the other one I hear all the time. Oh, I've got this car, Ford Explorer, for instance. That was one of the first ones to get rid of the dipstick.
Oh, yeah.
And so they go into the maybe it's the Quickie Lube.
Yeah.
And the guy says, oh, yeah, it's a sealed transmission.
Sealed transmission.
They don't need to be serviced.
Yeah.
Well, they're sealed to Harry the homeowner, but they're not sealed to John the transmission guy.
Right.
So they are designed to be serviced, and if you don't service them, you're neglecting it. But because maybe that particular lube place doesn't want to service it because it takes some time to service a transmission.
Just checking the fluid on some of these is a half-hour process. You need to hook a scan tool up, verify the temperature. Otherwise, if you check it at the wrong temperature, you're totally wrong. If it's got a standpipe in the pan and you're not at the right temperature, you have no idea how much fluid's in that transmission.
Oh, and the other thing, too, we were talking before the show, on the CVTs and the later model ones from Nissan, you have to check the fluid when the vehicle is stone cold.
Yeah.
Unless you have a specialty dipstick, which costs about $300. Yep. And I bet you if I took a little consensus of all the shops, how many shops have that special dipstick
Nobody bought one of those. Everybody looked at it and went, it's a $300 dipstick. I ain't buying one of those.
But if you go into the shop for like a little quickie service, and they're gonna service your transmission, they can't actually, without that dipstick, set the fluid level properly.
They can't set the fluid level. The fluid level set at a maximum of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, hey, if it's May here, we've been lucky this year. You might be able to pull it off this year. It's been cool. But normally that car just sitting in your lot is over 104 degrees.
Easily.
You've got no way of checking the fluid level.
For sure.
And being right about it.
Well, one of the strange things that happens, and this is weird, is that it's not weird to us, but I think it's weird to the consumer when we call them up and we check their car out. They're like, oh my gosh, how much is it going to cost for a new transmission? It's going to be really expensive. We check their car out, they drop it off, and John comes up and I say, hey, what's wrong with it? And he's like, oh, battery's bad. So batteries are causing a lot of issues in vehicles, and one of the things that really causes issues with is that the transmission, because it's electrically controlled. It's not like the old days. There's, look at some of these Toyota transmissions. There's 13, 14 solenoids in these things.
Oh, yeah.
There's a computer that runs it. There's pressure switches. There's all these things going on. If I got a bad power source, being a battery, it's really going to affect things. So battery's weak. The alternator's overcharging. Nothing's good. The alternator ends up burning out because the battery was bad. Put a good battery in your car. The first thing we do at Tri-City Transmission, when a vehicle comes in the shop, we're going to diagnose it. We're going to put our test tool on the battery and test the battery. And if the battery's not good, we're going to call them up and say, hey, it's time for a new interstate battery. Because I tell you what, folks, batteries don't last forever, especially in this climate. So if you're out there and you've had a battery for 24 months, 28 months, you're starting to live on borrowed time. If you're worried about it, get into a bumper-to-bumper radio shop and pick yourself up an interstate battery. When we come back, we've got Peter in Mesa with a 2014 GMC Acadia, Curtis in Phoenix with a 2009 Toyota Camry Hybrid. On open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTR. You're listening to Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
That's our closing line, Pops.
I know, Jeff. Just reinforcing that we're full-service auto repair.
At Kurtz Auto Repair, we do it all, including diesel. We have the passion, training, equipment, and expertise for diesel. Our techs are ASE certified for diesel and advanced diesel diagnostics. Toy hauling, horse trailering, off-roading, or work trucking, we've got you covered.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz. Check us out at mycarhurts.com.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Matt Allen is normally here with me, but he decided to go to the Indianapolis 500. I've never been to anything like that, but it sounds pretty exciting. He's doing Facebook Live, him going on the, a lap in the pace car. That sounds exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for him.
So anyway, that should be fun. But so it's just me here helping you, and then I've got John, and John knows all kinds of stuff about cars. He's got a few decades, more than a few decades in the repair.
Don't say it like that. A few decades.
So we can help you with a car at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. It is Memorial Day weekend, so we just take a moment to recognize the weekend and what it means to everybody and how much it touches everybody's lives. Everyone knows somebody who's there or has been there. Anyhow, we are going to go with Peter in Mesa. He's got a 2014 GMC Acadia. How can we help you, Peter? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, good morning, guys. We got the Acadia here, and like leaving a stoplight, get on the skinny, and it just shudders just to the dickens. If you get back off the skinny and just kind of let it get going, it takes off and drives normal. Even at, say, like highway, freeway, cruise, if you want to get over a lane and get on a skinny and accelerate, it'll shudder.
How many miles are on it?
Skinny a little bit. Let's see, we have 65,000 on it.
Okay. Check engine light come on or check engine light flash on it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
How long has this been going on?
Oh, probably about a year or so, year or two, a year and a half maybe.
Okay. When you say
progressively worse.
When you say shudder, give me kind of a little bit more. Just kind of is it like a washboard sensation, kind of a rumble strip sensation, like you're going over the on the side of the road there? Or when you say shudder, give me a little better idea on that.
It's not a washboard. It's not an up and down movement. It's more of a, I almost thought it would be motor mounts, but I can't tell because you can't even see the engine. So I tried doing the reverse trick and all that, but, you can't even see the engine. It's got all the cowling over it.
For sure.
But it makes a noise and it really just shudders. I don't know exactly how much more I can explain that.
Okay. Sure.
But it's not an up and down. It's more, you can tell that the motor is sideways, and it just kind of has that forward to back movement.
Right. Well, I think, John, when he first started talking, I think the first thing I was thinking was, maybe he's feeling some sort of misfire.
I did too.
60,000 miles, not a lot of miles on that car.
Some of those did pick up misfires that early. That was not unusual. The part that bothers me is the fact that he doesn't have a check engine light or an associated code with it. That usually comes along pretty quick. That may be a wave plate failure.
Wave plate, or the other thing too, I was thinking about the converters.
Yeah, it could be a converter or early portion of a wave plate. That's something you just can't throw a dart at because that can go either way. There can be misfires that occur without actually turning the check engine light on or setting codes. That's one that you need to find somebody that's talented with a scan tool to take the thing out and drive it with a scanner on it and watch the data and see if they can pick out whether it's misfire. There's some misfire history and stuff on that car that we can look at, and we want to command the torque converter on and off and see if that changes. Mounts are not out of the question on one of those either.
Yep.
So you've got like 3 different directions you can go with that.
We've had a handful of Acadias with that kind of sensation that we've dealt with, and we were really back and forth between, hey, is this misfire related? I got a few misfires, but then we've seen the converters go bad and cause issues, and then the wave plate.
Yep.
There is some information on our website. If you go to About Us, latest news, you can click on, there's a whole article about that particular transmission that's in that vehicle. You can read up on that. So anyhow, thanks for the call, Pete, 602-277-5827. We are going to go with Curtis in Phoenix. He's got a 2009 Toyota Camry Hybrid. How can we help you, Curtis? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, so I've got the problem with my AC blower. So when it sits out in the sun all day, when I turn the car on, the blower doesn't kick in. So last summer, I switched out the blower, and that didn't seem to be the problem. And all through the winter, the blower seemed to be fine. It only seems to be when it's a hot day outside. It takes a little bit of time for the blower to kick on. Still, as I'm driving down the road, it will blow cool air. So I know the AC compressor is still working side.
You're just not getting much airflow out of the vents. Is it a lower volume of airflow, or is it just not at all?
So if I turn the airflow to only suck in from the interior of the car, then it doesn't blow anything. But if I turn that off so I get the air passing through the engine, then I get that airflow only.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So the blower is not even kicking on.
Yeah. That's when that description, I'd have to see that one on a scanner.
Right.
And I'd want to throw a voltmeter on the blower and see if I've got a command there. That maybe a thermal issue with like a
temperature switch,
a transistor or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be one that have to be figured out. What's nice is that it's doing it every time it's warm. So when you put your test tools on it, you're going to either see the information you want to see, or not see it. So then you can start tracking it down.
Yeah.
And there's in the HVAC systems anymore, there's so much more than there was in the old days.
Yeah.
In the old days there was a pressure switch or two, and otherwise it was on and it worked.
You used to be able to tap on the blower motor and see if it came on.
Exactly. Give the old Fonzarelli.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, thanks for the call, Curtis. Let's go with, looks like Clay in Scottsdale. He's got a 2003 Lexus. Let's see. How can we help you, Clay? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yes. As you know, I've got the 2003 Lexus. I went to change the oil the other day. Oh, it's got 200,000 miles on it. I went to change the oil, and I drained out the transmission instead. So I kept the oil from the transmission, and I might have a little bit of engine oil in it because you know how the pan, you change the engine oil with. So I dumped it back into the transmission, and I ship it through the gears, and it seems to work fine. I was just wondering, should I take it in for a transmission service and have the fluid, or what should I do on this at this point? It still runs fine.
Yeah, have the fluid changed.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it for the cost of a transmission. You know, sometimes we have to give people bad news. They're not cheap. They're not giving them away. So I mean, it would definitely be worth it to get it done.
Yeah.
The other thing I had mentioned is that transmissions really and this is kind of just a gut statistic, but in my estimation, I think they fail 3 to 1 over motors. You don't see engine failures like you did in the old days, and
I would think that's probably my experience too lately with newer stuff.
You're right.
Yeah.
In really all the work has come off of the engine. The old days, the engine you had 2-speed transmission, 3-speed transmission. Now we've got 8-speed and 10-speed transmissions. And what's happening is that transmission is it's designed so well that it's keeping that engine right at that nice, smooth spot for running. It's in a good, happy place. And so engines are just way better than they used to be. And also transmissions are too, but they're just doing more stuff. Yeah. So everyone remembers to change their engine oil because it's been ingrained in us. Every 3,000, that's moved up to every 5,000. Some people are 7,000, whatever that is. But we're ingrained to change the engine oil. But really no one knows what the heck to do with this transmission because you go to this guy, he tells you one thing. You go to that guy, he tells you something else. And you go to that guy, he tells you something else. And then you hear this advertising on the radio and you see this poster. And I was thinking of that car wash across the street from us. They've got a video up on the wall, and it shows the internal workings of a transmission with this like black, slushy, nasty oil. Yeah. And then they say, with transmission service, and they put in this really, really luscious-looking red fluid in the transmission, and we're like, wow, that's fantastic. I think I want that, But I'm not going to go, necessarily get the car wash transmission service. It's too expensive of an investment to do it wrong. Because to the point at the beginning of the show, rather than it's better to have no transmission service at all than to do it wrong. So there's a lot of questions there. If you've got any questions in relation to your transmission, anything related to your car, you got a window that doesn't work, we've got Gina, Pam, Bill, and Mark and more open lines at 602-277-5827. We'll be right back.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Some say one of the worst sounds you can hear is a car crash.
Yes, and all the stress that goes with that can be worse.
The accident is stressful enough. The repair process doesn't have to be. Hi, this is Kevin,
Dave,
and Leo,
and we're the collision team at Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Individually, we own Campus Body Salon, I-17 Collision, and First Class Auto Body. Together, we're an unbeatable team working for you, not the insurance company, to get your job done right. Check us out at bumpertobumperradio.com.
Here's what Carrie from Tempe had to say about her experience with Good Works Auto Repair.
As soon as you realize, I need to get some work done on my car, I'm sure the thought occurs to you that you're about to get taken for a ride. I used to share the same sentiment and wondered if the shop was going to make something up and have me spending hundreds of dollars instead of $30 I was planning on for a simple oil change. This is one of the reasons I will only go to Good Works Auto Repair. Because I trust them. Putting trust in an auto shop didn't come easily. It's been built over several visits with them doing exactly what was needed, not coercing me into unnecessary work. Ask them for an oil change and a safety inspection, they do just that. No baloney, list of filters, belts, and whatchamacallits that need replacing on my new car. Thank you, Good Works Auto Repair, for being there for me when I need you.
Appreciate the kind words. It's always a pleasure. Glenn Hayward here. Come experience what award-winning auto service should be. Good Works Auto Repair in Tempe, or visit us at goodworksautorepair.com.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic now.
KTAR News Time, it's 11:30. I'm Amy Pohl. A sad update to the crash involving 3 vehicles. James Rothschild of Phoenix Police explains.
And because of the collision, 9 people were transported to the hospital for injuries, and unfortunately, one of them passed away.
And that person was 21-year-old Jessica Mendoza, and it's not believed that she was wearing a seatbelt. One of those vehicles failed to stop at a stop sign, colliding with another car, who then hit another vehicle. Impairment is suspected. It happened on 7th Ave and Baseline Road early this morning. Phoenix police say that area will be closed for most of the day, so it's best to find another route. For the 3rd year in a row, Phoenix is the fastest growing city in the country. The latest census figures show 25,000 people moved to Phoenix. Last year, that's 5,000 more than San Antonio and 6,000 more than Fort Worth. Phoenix city officials say job opportunities in financial services, technology, and healthcare are attracting people to Phoenix. And now for a check on traffic. Here's Mike Daniels, live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Amy. Got a crash in Avondale on Dysart Road just north of the I-10 at Rancho Santa Fe Boulevard. And stop-and-go traffic, 17 northbound, right between Daisy Mountain Drive and Anthem Way. Definitely give yourself extra time in that area. This traffic report brought to you by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family. Parents, you love your kids and want what's best for them, so talk to them about the dangers of vaping. Download the Parent Talk Kit at overcomeawkward.org. It matters. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
KTAR weather for the Valley. Today's forecast, it's 82 degrees in Scottsdale, sunny with a high of 91. Tonight, clear with a low of 60, and tomorrow, sunny and breezy with a high of 84. Then at night, cloudy and breezy with a low of 59. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Amy Pohl on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Get to work informed and on time with the Valley's only all-news morning show.
Arizona's Republican lawmakers say they've reached a budget deal with Governor Ducey over the weekend.
Unusually cool weather for much of this week.
Arizona's morning news, weekdays 5 to 9. KTAR News 92.3 FM and the KTAR News app.
Trust. They say it takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. It doesn't come easy, and you have to earn it every day to stay in business, right? Hi, Dave Riccio from Tri-City Transmission and co-host of Bumper to Bumper Radio. As Arizona's oldest and most trusted transmission shop, we are determined to keep building on a reputation that we've worked hard to earn by doing the right thing every time for our customers. Yes, honesty is our policy, but we go a step further and back it up with experience and the expertise to be able to give you comfort to know that if you are going to have to spend money on a transmission, that A, you actually need it, and B, that it's done by the most qualified experts at a fair price. I guarantee it. Tri-City Transmission, handcrafted since 1972. Go where friends trust to send their friends. Check us out online at tricitytransmission.com. That's tricitytransmission.com. tricitytransmission.com.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
You love golf? Hey, we love golf. Want to stay informed and have a little fun?
Just tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 for the Bunker to Bunker Golf Show, the Valley's #1 golf show. I'm Greg Ellis.
And I'm Jim Hill. And along with Marty Monahan, we talk to tour players and insiders from around the golf world.
So round out the foursome, your weekly tee time, 7 a.m. Saturdays on 98.7 FM, Arizona Sports Station, or catch up with us anytime at bunkergolf.com.
Who can you trust here in the Valley to repair your ride? This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Matt Allen is off today. He went out to the Indy 500, so you got me today, and you've got John Riggle, the lead diagnostician with Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. And if you've never tuned in before and you're thinking, hey, what the heck is this Bumper to Bumper Radio thing all about? Well, Bumper to Bumper Radio is a show designed to put you in the know about auto repair and car issues. Auto repair, or our cars are a very big part of our budget and our wallet, so we got to know about them. And when I talk to people, they say, I don't know about this and that. People have so many questions about auto repair. So we're just going to give you some kind of guidepost about auto repair, some norms so you can kind of know what to expect. And a lot of it has to do with having a relationship with a shop, okay? People that you can go to, you trust, you have a relationship. You trust them, they trust you, and it actually goes both ways, when we're working on cars. And so we want you to have that, how to communicate well with your shop so you can have this good relationship where you just have a comfort zone if you have a car issue, or you have a comfort zone because someone's taking really good care of your car and you're not going to have a car issue. And people that take care of their cars, they don't end up on tow trucks. That's something I've seen over and over and over again. So Bumper to Bumper Radio is a radio show. There's Bumper to Bumper Radio, which is a website, bumpertobumperradio.com. There's a list of shops all over the valley that I would carte blanche send you to. These guys are great. They're going to take good care of you. You don't have to be nervous like, is someone here out to get me? Or are they just going to take all my money? There's great shops on there. I'd be more than happy to send you. Two of the great shops that I want to highlight today is Automotive Diagnostic Specialties, ADS, basically Chandler Boulevard and I-10. And I tell you what, if you want to see a state-of-the-art facility with state-of-the-art technicians, if there's such, people that just really know their stuff, Greg LaFonsi runs that place, and he does a wonderful job, and it's a great shop. And it's not... It's established. It's an old business. It's been around a long time, and they really have a great reputation in the community. On the other side of the valley, you've got, if your car hurts, you take it to Kurt's Auto Repair up there at basically 20th Avenue and Bell Road. It's a really very much a family-owned shop, so you're going to see cousins and nephews and mother working there, that kind of thing. So Kurt's Auto Repair over there off Bell Road and about 20th Avenue. You can find all that at bumpertobumperradio.com. Sometimes people pick a shop because it's by their house, but the other place to pick a shop is by your work. So when you're on there and you're looking at the map, say, hey, I work over here, but I live over here. Yep. But you want to find a home. You don't want to be what I call an orphan customer. Some people they go to different shops every time depending on who's got availability. Yeah. You know what? If you got a shop and they do a good job for you and you call them up and they're super busy, don't go to another shop. You just wait. Or rent a car, or do something. Yeah. Because the last thing you want to do is go to a shop knows nothing about your car. Yeah. It's like different pediatrician every time you take your kid to the doctor. It's just not a good idea. So anyhow, I did want to get to a phone call there on the Prius as far as the gentleman, I think his name was Curtis, and John said he was having a moment of brain fart, and he goes, I was looking for that word. Power transistor was on the tip of his tongue. Yep. And I was thinking of, blower or resistor, but I was like, same thing. I was like, heat doesn't affect a blower resistor, but it will affect a power transistor.
Yeah, same function, kind of different design to the piece.
So if you're still listening, Curtis, maybe something there. But if you're taking it into a shop, just let them know what's going on. You had plenty of good information for them to be able to figure it out. Doesn't necessarily sound like a complicated problem, but every now and then we get into something where...
Oh, I will never say that again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let me get over here to the phone calls, and we're going to have a little bit of a tip of the week here for you when we get back. We're going to go with Pam. She's got a 2007, looks like Cadillac Escalade. How can we help you, Pam? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
I just have a quick question. My Escalade was leaking oil. I saw it on the driveway. So I took it to the dealership, and they said the oil pan was leaking at the rear of the gasket. So they removed and replaced the oil pan gasket and filled it with new oil. Mm-hmm. And that's not a problem. My question is, then they reset it for the oil change, and they didn't put a new oil filter in. I know whenever you get an oil change, you should get a new oil filter. Should they not have also put a new oil filter in since they reset the time for a new oil change?
Yeah, you would definitely want an oil filter. I mean, if I was changing the oil, I'd replace the filter.
I can't imagine anybody not putting an oil filter on it. I'm just guessing that maybe they didn't get it put on the bill. I mean, do you know they didn't change the oil filter? That's really strange.
Well, I can call them back and ask them, but it wasn't on the bill, and they didn't say that.
It may have been an oversight because I can't imagine anybody
Right.
doing one of those without putting an oil filter on.
I mean, I can imagine it. It happens, but
I can.
but
I can. The problems I've had with them, I can. So.
Okay.
Well, yeah, just give them a call and just go have a conversation. Say, I'm not sure. Did you guys, when you guys did the oil pan, did you replace the oil filter as well? So if not, well, then we got to get an oil filter and an oil change again.
Yeah,
and they would probably,
if they didn't,
they would probably
we've already
blush.
Take it off to go on a trip, and I don't want to. That's all we use it for is for vacations and stuff. So I need to go get another oil change and get a new filter. Correct? If they didn't.
For sure, yeah, but give them a call and see, and yeah, maybe it was just an oversight on the bill.
Yeah, I mean, if the oil was recently changed, they can swap a filter out. I mean, it's no big deal. It's not going to prevent you from going on a trip.
Can you take the oil filter out and put a new one in without changing the oil?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
you lose about maybe a quart of oil.
About a quart of oil. Yeah,
so they have to add a quart.
Not
so
a big
they can
deal
just add
at
the
all.
quart. Oh no, I thought I had to have a whole oil change.
Oh no,
not at all.
Easy.
All right,
Yeah.
they can do that.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
explain the situation to whoever does it.
All right.
They'll know what to do.
All
For
right,
sure.
I'll call my service writer. Okay.
For sure. Thanks for your patience, Pam.
Thank you.
I know
Alrighty.
we lost you a couple times. We're going to go with Gina in Phoenix. She's got a 1989 Chevy Blazer. How can we help you, Gina? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hello. Okay. This is one of these to flush or not to flush. I got oil change and said, oh, you should get your brakes flushed. Well, I had it for 21 years, and technically I only had 2 brake flushes I know, and it doesn't have any noise, any rubbering, any vibrations. Should I go ahead and get it? But it's one of these things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What's your opinion on brake flush?
You're specifically referring to the brake fluid getting flushed out.
Correct.
Okay, and it was recommended the last time you went into the auto shop?
Yeah. My regular oil change is, oh, you know what, by the way, maybe you should get that flush, yeah, okay.
Okay. Well,
How do they know when they change the oil? When they change the oil, do they check that too? Like, is it dark or?
Yeah, there is. I mean, there is actually test strips that you can put in the fluid.
Test strips. They can check for copper and stuff. I have a little leery on that one. With that kind of miles and only having two brake flushes, there is a situation where I've seen brake flushes done, and we lose the ability for the master cylinder to make any pressure anymore. If it's been that long in between, there's always sediment in the master cylinder. You do a flush, you'll move some of that sediment around.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get between the pistons, the cups and the pistons and the wall of the master cylinder. You'll wind up with oddball pedal issues, low pedal issues. That car was always hard for people to flush and bleed anyway. It had a quick take-up master on it. At this point, as long as the fluid's full, there's no leaks in it.
No symptoms.
Yeah, and I would tend to just want to leave it there.
You know, and for me, and not necessarily in this car in particular, but I'm the type of person that you might service a brake fluid when you're already doing a brake repair. You know,
the time to service the fluid is before it needs to be changed. If you wait until it needs to be changed, that means it's had moisture in it. It's probably started to do some corrosive stuff. Too late. You can't fix that corrosion. You can't fix that. So if you're going to do preventative maintenance,
do it ahead of time.
Do it ahead of time. That's why I call it preventative maintenance.
For sure. And then back to the first part of our show, you know, there's, as far as I haven't serviced my transmission, and we're talking about do I, don't I, you know, stay up with it. So, you know, basically most vehicles, the recommendation for service can be somewhere between 30 and 50,000 miles. Depending on the type of vehicle and the type of transmission, sometimes we move it up toward the 30,000 side, and sometimes we move it later toward the 50 or 60,000 mile side. It really depends on the application and the use of the vehicle. But yeah, definitely stay ahead of it. And what you're trying to do is avoid the expensive repair down the road.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do. So, thanks for the call, Gina. 602-277-5827. We're going to go with Mark in Phoenix. He's got a 1986 Monte Carlo. How can we help you, Mark? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Well, thanks, guys, for taking my call. In this, let me give you a little background on it. We had the engine replaced maybe 5,000 miles ago, along with the transmission. And just yesterday, driving on the highway, the car overheated, and what came spewing out was rust-colored liquid. No longer had the beautiful fluorescent green color to it. So all of that came spewing out, had the car sitting on the side of the road till it cooled down. Then we filled it back up with, the right coolant, and drove it for another maybe 20 miles. It started kind of overheating again, but we pulled over, let it rest a while, and let it cool off. And then we got back on the road and made it back home another 25 miles.
Did you say you just had the motor done? Was it replaced at like a motor shop?
Yes.
Okay. And how long ago was that exactly?
It was last fall, so it has less than 5,000 miles on the engine.
Did they replace the radiator and the hoses at the same time?
The radiator was not replaced, but the hoses and water pump were.
Okay. Well, when we do motor jobs at our shop, I love to address that cooling system. Because if you plug a brand new motor into an old cooling system that's full of rust, the radiator, there's some debris and junk and stuff. You're going to get that into the system. So, there could be some of that going on. We got to find out why it's overheating, though. I mean, why is this car getting hot?
Yeah, it sounds like he had some concerns. Like he thought the coolant was green to start with, and now it's all rusty. The one thing that I know of that degrades coolant that quickly in that short period of time is a water pump that's cavitating for one reason or another. It will oxygenate the coolant and turn it to rust. So when we see these cars that have weeping water pumps, you can see a little stripe down the water pump, and you pull the radiator cap off, and it looks like brown, rusty sludge in there. It's usually because there was an issue with the water pump at some point, and it caused that degradation of the fluid. Whenever you see it quickly like that. So, that needs to be checked out and figured out. Just definitely do not want to overheat a new motor.
Yeah, for sure, Mark. Thanks for the call. When we come back from the break, we're going to have our tip of the week, and we've got Ray and Bill, and maybe time for one more at 602-277-5827. We'll be right back.
What's the right call after a car accident? Hi, Leo Petrozello for Campus Auto Body Salon. I invite you to check us out online and see why so many people have made us their first call following their accident. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved, 5-star rated with Yelp and CarWise.com, and A+ rated by the BBB. Make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon. Check us out online at campusbodysalon.com. Serving the Valley since 1973, Campus Auto Body Salon, the best care in collision repair.
Honesty and integrity, it's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty and I is for integrity. We've built our business on these two principles.
Hi, this is Danny Grant.
And I'm Paul Garcia.
We're Spencer's business partners. Originally, we were customers that were referred by friends to check out this great shop in Mesa. We saw for ourselves how special the experience was at H&I.
Yep, we went from raving fans to good friends to enthusiastic partners when Spencer was looking to expand his business to the East Valley.
Thanks, guys. The overwhelming support from our customers, families, and partners has allowed us to celebrate the opening of our second, brand new, state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value that you can count on for all your automotive needs. Backed with an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. We invite you to check us out at HNIautomotive.com.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Oh, beautiful, far heroes proved in liberating strife.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio on this Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you've got plans to get together with friends and family and take some time to honor. It's that time of year. You know, I was researching it before the show, Memorial Day, the history of it, what it was originally called, and all that stuff. It was interesting.
Yeah, I actually did the same thing. Yeah,
because I lack a little history myself, so I need to You need to touch up on that. So welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio. Matt Allen is off today, and so I've got John Riggle from Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. And I'm looking at the text here. I've got a text here that says, what the heck is a wave plate? Is that like a flywheel? And we talked earlier, one of the phone calls, we were talking about a 6T70 and a GMC front-wheel drive vehicle. They have a wave plate that likes to fail in one of the clutch drums. And I can't specifically remember which clutch drum it is, John. Do you know off the top of your head?
3.5 reverse.
3.5 reverse clutch drum. I knew it would. A wave plate is in the clutch drum, and there's different kinds of plates in clutch drums. Some are dampers, some are cushions, some kind of return the clutches and the steels away from each other. But there is a wave plate that likes to fail, particularly in that transmission, and it was a big deal. I mean, GM extended the warranty on it. I think there was some class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
On our website, tricitytransmission.com, there is an article about wave plate. It explains it to you. There's pictures and codes and symptoms, and you'll see your vehicle on there. So I try and, about once a week, I've started writing case studies about the different repairs that we see over and over again. So when someone's in my shop, I can explain it to them on the phone, but then I can follow it up with more information, so they're really in the know as far as what's going on. So that's one of the things. And the car tip for the week is, and people don't know how to do this anymore, John, check the oil in their car.
Check the oil in the car. Yeah. It just slays me like every other car that rolls through our shop that comes from someplace else. It's a quart low on oil. It's a quart and a half low on oil. And that's, I just look at it and I'm just shocked, And these aren't necessarily cars that leak oil or anything. It's just like they've just been driven a long time and nobody checks their own oil.
And here's the thing you can do. Is that if you go, and the tip is, go to your regular auto shop. Hopefully you have a regular auto shop that you go to. Go there. Don't necessarily get the guy from the front counter. He could be a former mechanic or a guy who's been around. He may know how to do it. Get a technician that can show you how to check the oil on your car so you're comfortable doing it and you can check it, because you don't want to ruin an engine. They're very expensive. It's frowned upon to lose an engine. Not a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
But
and you don't have to do it all the time. Do it once a month. If you don't do it at all, do it once a month anyway.
Yeah, learn how to pop your hood and just kind of look and be familiar with it. And if you've got a good shop, they'd be more than happy to kind of put you in the know so you know something about your car. So if you don't know how to check your own oil, that's the tip. Go to your auto shop, have them show you how to check the oil. Yeah. So anyhow, let's go with Bill in New River. He's got a 2010 Chevy Cobalt. How can we help you, Bill? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot for taking. I just want to pick your brain just a little bit.
There's not much there, but go for it.
My wife was driving yesterday, and it just stopped at a light. I mean, in other words, the ignition, the power to the engine itself went away. All the lights work, everything works, but no power to the engine. It won't start. So my question to you is, and I've checked some relays and fuses on it, it's not showing a code. Is there any chance that could be an ignition switch?
Highly likely. Yes. It would be real high on my list of things with that particular car.
Is that the one that's got the battery cable issue?
Yeah, it's got battery cable issues, but the ignition switch is number one on my list.
The power on it, it's got a new battery in it, and all the cables are good. So, everything works on that. So it's just, I've been retired 11 years, so my brain's getting a little soft.
Mine is too, but I'm still working.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah. No, ignition switch would be real high on my list on that. On that particular car, what we look for, with the scan tool we have, we look at the data in the instrument cluster of all things. And they do what they call power moding or power shedding. When power starts to drop off, we'll see certain modules start to shut down. And we can see those codes, and we can see the ignition switch inputs. So probably be 3 of them on that car for the instrument cluster. And we'll be able to watch those as you try to crank the car and see what's there. But more often than not, on one of those can be an ignition switch issue.
What's interesting about that is he's got no code. So if he went to XYZ Auto Parts and he pulled in there, he can't pull in there because it doesn't drive.
Yeah.
But they'd plug into it and they wouldn't see anything. So you're talking about looking at information from this module and that module and the other module.
That's going to require a lot more than just a generic OBD code scan.
For sure. We say that the no-code diagnostic, Bill, is what separates the men from the boys.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure. Anyhow, we're going to go with Ray in Casa Grande. He's got a 2001 Chevrolet Express van. How can we help you, Ray? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, I've got a check light on, and I brought it in, and it's also runs on CNG, which I'm running on right now, actually. And they checked it all over. They run it through diagnostics and stuff, and they put an oxygen sensor in it. And when they realized it was CNG, they said they can't go any farther than that.
Yep.
And it's a reputable shop. It really is. I like them a lot. But I'm trying to figure out now. It runs perfect, and I don't know, what it is. Thank God I'm in Pinal County, and I don't have to worry about emissions or anything. But I was just wondering if you had any ideas which would.
No, not on a CNG conversion on one of the older ones. That is a specialty area. You need to find somebody that deals with those. Most of those guys are gone.
Right.
There's only a few places that I can think of that will even tackle those animals anymore. Like I said, they did some modifications and stuff when they built those things, and if you're not familiar with them, you'll just go down the wrong road every time on those. So you're going to have to find somebody that actually will tell you, yeah, we can do CNG conversion.
Right. Yeah, that was just a window of time where, the government was buying everybody cars and, and it just turned out to kind of be a mess at the end of the day. But the silver lining there is he's in Pinal County, so.
Yeah, Pinal County, yeah. Okay.
For now. Anyway, it's the holiday weekend. There's some people are probably here still in town, and they got the hammer and nails, and they're doing something on the house, and they're getting ready for the barbecue. Yeah. I was at Ace Hardware yesterday, and they got this nice setup with some green grass and barbecues, and I was tempted to buy one, even though I got like 3 of them. I don't need an extra one.
Yeah.
My wife would have killed me if I came home with another barbecue.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's one of those times where we talked about batteries earlier, and we're just getting ready to come into summertime. If you think you're going to have an issue with the battery, you probably are. If it's getting to be that 24, 28 months with the heat, we've been blessed with this May weather. It's fantastic, but we're going to pay for it later. Somebody's playing tricks on us. They're like, "Gotcha! Thought you had it easy." So anyhow, we're glad you can join us. Let me see. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, join the Bumper to Bumper family on Facebook, and really have a safe weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the extra day off. And if you don't have to be on the road.
And if you're on the road, put the phone up and drive.
Yeah, put the phone up and drive. Exactly. The thing that gets me, John, is when I'm at the stoplight and the light turns green, and you see like a 30, 40-foot lag before the next car. Man, it just fries me.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dave, don't be that guy.
That's right.
Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you next week.